Irish and in Wales. Okay, so we are going to start. No viene nadie más.
Bueno, venía ahí un coche, pero no sé si es.
Maybe someone is arriving.
Aparcó ahí.
Anyhow, we start.
That's right.
Okay, so we start with savitur haranayam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyona Prasudayam Shanti Shanti Shanti. Open your eyes slowly. Namaste. So, we will start today reviewing a little bit your practice. So let's start with you. Did you do the practice yesterday and today?
Yes.
This morning? Okay, so tell me, you could do it easily? Could you flow through the practice? Did you have any problems?
Yeah, I was the only, my question is, you said when you do the retinal thing to look at your forehead.
Yeah, forehead, yeah.
And I felt if I more felt that my forehead was projecting, like if I think this like tension in my eyes.
Right, yeah, so you don't do it concentrating, just,
right,
letting it like if you were looking forward,
right,
gently,
yeah,
like doing the act of looking forward but with your eyelids closed, no?
Yeah.
But you do the act of as if you were looking, but without forcing, very gently, very... win the lottery. You want to be happy.
right. So it's a more relaxed, like.
Do you know that?
I would.
Do you know? It's one of the biggest curses that people receive to win a big lottery. It's studied. It's studied.
Right.
Because what happens is that the first thing that happens is that you didn't realize you had so many friends. Until that day. Then the pressure is such that normally people tend going and leaving their roots and rooting themselves. Many of them end up, there is a scientific study about that. It's one of the biggest curses, And even though everybody wants that curse. So when you pray, you just are putting your problems, your worries in front of yourself, in fact, but using a clean mirror or the cleanest possible mirror. Because if not, your perception of the problems will always be relative to what my mother thinks, what society thinks, So you put them relative to God, which means that, you put them kind in an absolute mirror for that respect. So what you do is gently, expressing and listening to the sound of your voice, you express yourself, and what is happening is that it is you yourself, that the inner self, that is listening to you in your best version, let's say, to your little I, and and it's a kind of technique to look you squarely in the mirror, which is one of the most difficult things to do. So you managed to do that, but you had a little bit of tension, you mean?
I was just curious, like from instruction, it like created tension. I was like, no, this probably isn't right. So
no.
just
Just flow with it, exactly. Just you are listening to your voice and you are just flowing with it. And when you end telling what is going on, which is a way of telling it to yourself, as you know, in a squarely, you know, without lying to yourself, well then you accept the responsibility, which by repeating it every morning, you little by little become more responsible, because whatever you repeat enough number of times, you tend bring into your life. You know, if you say, oh, I am weak, I am so weak, I am so weak, I mean, in no time, I mean, you will be absolutely pure weakness. So it's better to say, I'm strong, I'm strong, I'm strong. No, I mean, so accepting responsibility, you know, and repeating it to yourself will make you a responsible person, in the sense that you will stop blaming of your happiness or your peace or your whatever to your exterior. You will become responsible of your own well-being, of your own happiness, of your own feeling of fulfillment. And you know, and we all need things from life, and that's the part of the petition. Every prayer has, you know, what you ask for. So we all need things, but when we are in the spiritual realm, what you may need is strength, or peace, or I don't know, discernment, discrimination, or you know, or it will not be a red Ferrari or a lottery ticket, you know, because you know, first of all, when you meditate, you know, you are trying to not to win the lottery or to acquire any sort of powers. You are trying to find that peace which is beyond all understanding, no? That communion, if you want, with your inner self or with God, depending how you want to call it or how you want to approach it. No? So it's not a matter of being rich, but a matter of it's nearer to a matter of being happy, finding the joy of living. You know, life can be enjoyed, evolution can be enjoyed, and you can, you know, learn how to find the joy in life. Even when the bad moments come, you still can find the joy of being alive, the joy of being a witness of life in itself. You know? So the petitions will be in that direction, obviously, you know. and it comes, you know, because when it creates a magnetism, you know, when any situation creates a magnetism. That's why, for example, if you know, you say, okay, I'm going to get this done, you know, and you get determined, I don't know, to make a club in your community, to get everybody with this problem, to help each other, imagine. And you get onto it. And you start thinking about it, and you speak with someone, you speak with another. This creates an aura around you that immediately starts bringing other things that you need, that you didn't know. Someone calls you, or, oh, I know this person, and everything kind of combines so that you can do it. So if you are determined, all the universe helps in whatever endeavor. So in spiritual endeavors also, you know, if you are determined, then all the universe helps, and your petitions are listened, as it is said in the Bible. Ask and you will be given, paraphrasing, you know. You did the mantra meditation also?
No, I just
the translation. Okay. Now, next week we have to do both meditations till next Tuesday. So we will have that as a practice to see how it goes, doing two meditations. First thing in the morning, the Tratak, and at the end of the day, the mantra, lying down. And you do that for 4 days, which is important because while you practice for 4 days, you know, problems might arise, doubts, things like that, and then on Tuesday, I'll correct, we will learn new practices that we will incorporate, and little by little from here to the end of the month, my goal is that you learn well how to meditate and how to apply this discipline in your life, so that you know you can exercise it at your own will. It's important that after this month you keep at least 8 weeks meditating regularly, because if you keep 8 weeks meditating regularly, it will be enough for you to establish yourself in the practices. And then maybe you stop meditating, but it's like when you learn how to ride a bicycle, that you will never forget. So you know, you will find a lot of release and maybe when you are feeling much better, you stop meditating because you feel good and you say, I don't need it anymore. But when things come wrong again and you will remember how to do it and you will just pick it up, and it's like picking a bicycle after a long time, that you know to ride it straight away. So it's important that you learn it well and you are established in it, because once then it's never forgotten. Okay? George.
Well, it was interesting because when I woke up on Wednesday and I said, okay, I try to remember how to do things in order somewhat, you know? Mm-hmm. And I said, well, should I light the candle first, or should I start the, good morning day? And then I just remembered how you did things, and I said, I'll just go with the flow.
Right, exactly.
So I lit the candle, I sat down, did good morning day, mm-hmm. and then I placed my intentions to God, mm-hmm. in short sentences, mm-hmm. and then I did the breathing exercises.
The pranayamas?
Yeah, the pranayama. Now I did the breathing exercises similar to that, with the alternate nostril breathing,
Yeah,
years ago. But I didn't do that. I did what you wanted us to do. I didn't want to, but it was very relaxing.
Right.
And then when I started with the
Tratak, yeah.
It was, it took time, but it came back, because after I did it, like 3 or 4 cycles of it,
right.
The image was held longer,
mm-hmm.
And I didn't, when it started to drift down or drift away,
mm-hmm.
I just kept my eyes straight ahead, and it came back.
Right, exactly.
It came back on its own. Not like I had to follow it with my eyes to keep it in the image.
Yeah.
It came back on its own, like you said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you will have to be doing this every morning from here to Thursday. Mm-hmm. Okay? With all the set of things, and include the lying down meditation at the end of the day. Okay, this will create a rhythm. You will see that it gives to the day, it gives the day a rhythm. You start, you become conscious that you are starting the only day you have to live. You become conscious that there is one thing, which is your actuality, which is whatever is going to happen today, and your so-called reality, which is the projection of yourself that you do in your mind. Remember that what you are for the rest of the world is not what you have in your mind, is what you express through your actions. So you realize that your reality as a projection that you have in your mind is a reality between quotations, because it's of your knowledge but nobody else's. that your true reality is your actuality, in the sense that what is definitely real is that you are alive and that you have a life, a day to live, and in that day you as a person, as a form of life, you will be expressing, and people will know you through your actions, through what you do in the day. And that's the way I know you, or you through your actions here in this short. But how everybody knows everybody, because nobody knows that other projection. So you concentrate your mind, in other words, you put your attention where life is happening. And you greet the life of that day that is happening, which is the good morning day attitude. Which is that you flow naturally and allow that you put your attention in a very natural way, you know, in the light, in the beauty. You know, if you look around, you will be able to see, you know, beauty. And you know, if you have a puja, for example, well, all the little rites help to create the mood, you know. Different people find different ways of implementing these little rites, no? The different religions give you different rites. Doesn't matter which one or other, it's just, you know, things that you may do, I don't know. For example, if you have a garden in spring, the first thing you do is you take some flowers and you put them, I don't know, in this place, and in other words, you say good morning to the day with your thoughts, with your actions, putting your attention not in what you want from the day, but in that you have just woke up, because the practice starts when you wake up in bed. That very moment that you wake up in bed and you start projecting in your mind your reality, between quotations, is when you remind yourself, you tell to yourself, George, it's only one day. And say good morning to this day you have to live. And then you know, say good morning this is just an example. It's not that you have to do it like that or force you, but you put yourself in that mood, no? And then while you shave, while you dress, while you do it in the same way, you know, you are perceiving how you are shaving, in your face the warmth of the water, not wanting to be shaved but shaving, not wanting to be showered but showering, no? Not wanting to have your teeth brushed but brushing your teeth, no? And you direct every thought towards God, so you think in front of God. You know, your thoughts will be boom, 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 boom. In the moment they start going and they start referencing to other people, you just reference your thoughts to God, because when this mind chatter, we always reference it to something or someone. It's always referential thought. So you reference it to God, and as I always say, if you don't believe in one, you invent it, because you are referencing yourself also to invented characters by your mind. You know that you say it's your mother, but it's your invented mother, not your real mother. So you do that while you are shaving, dressing, and then you sit down, and then you just, you know, do these 2 minutes of, you know, expressing your problems or your worries, if there are. You know, some days you wake up with no problems, no worries, no nothing, and happy as a flower. If that's the case, you don't need to invent worries.
Yeah.
You just, you know, express your happiness to be alive, and then you do your pranayamas, and after your pranayamas, cycles of watching the flame, watching the point, watching the flame, watching the point. And then at the end of the day, which means normally before dinner, you know, so that you, after dinner, you kind of, you know, it's the end of the day already, you do the lying down meditation. Another moment which is good to do the lying down meditation is when you arrive from work, for example, because when you arrive from work, you know, you bring all the inertia of the day working, and then you do that meditation and it breaks the inertia of all day. Mm-hmm. But either when you arrive from work or before dinner, ideally not before you go to sleep, but you know, if you have not done it, do it when you are at bed and get asleep doing the technique. You will sleep well, but it's better to do it before you go to sleep.
And it's best to do before you eat a meal? Like
oh yes, and before you eat a meal. Yeah, you don't want to meditate after eating a meal, because then the digestion will not allow you to, and if you enter in meditation as the metabolic rate drops, it could cut your digestion, so it's not advisable at all. So you do it, you know, not hungry, because if you are hungry you will also be unable to meditate, but you know, with let's say with the stomach at peace. And without having to digest, which means that if in the mornings you need to take a coffee and maybe a biscuit to put your stomach at peace, you can do that just before meditating, so that's no problem. But you don't want to have a big breakfast, for example, before meditating in the morning.
After you do the tracker, and you do it like 2 or 3 times, when you do the breathing exercise, you just want to do 1 or 2 cycles, that's it, afterwards to end everything?
When you finish the 2-3 cycles of watching candle, watching point, you finish with pranayamas again.
Okay, and you do it, you don't have to do it as many times as you did before.
It's important to do 6 at the beginning and at least 3 at the end, but you can do 6. I mean, you can do pranayamas, in fact, any moment of the day. For example, if you are, I don't know, waiting for a job interview, and you are kind of anxious, well, instead of letting anxiety take of you with eyes open, you just, you know, you could be sitting like here waiting for the guy to call you, and you can just do. And you will calm your mind immediately, no? And you can just do pranayamas. You can be waiting for a bus or for the train, or, you know, you can be standing in your terrace looking, and you can do pranayamas any moment of the day, or any moment that you are starting to get a little bit in turmoil.
You like stress?
Like stressed, you know, it's like making a stop, a pause, and you make a pause and you do 2 pranayamas, 3 pranayamas will generate a pause and will alleviate the stress just by making that stop and those 2-3 breathings. Right? Okay, so I'm going to use the blackboard now. Okay, so maybe we need that light. So basically, in this discipline that we are going to apply a discipline to a day. Meditation is not only kind of meditating 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening. It's also applying, you know, a discipline in your day. It's at the end of the day, all day has to become a meditation somehow. And you know, we know how we start. You know, we start with this first thing in the morning practice, which is the good morning day that leads you to your first meditation, that we are initially doing it with Strata. And then after you do this meditation, that we have learned to do it also adding a prayer. And we have learned that already. Then your day starts. And then in your day, you have actions, thoughts, and feelings. And we are also going to learn techniques to deal with all these things. So I'm going to use now the next half an hour to explain a little bit the part of actions, and we will dedicate the most troublesome part of our life are thoughts, so I will dedicate Tuesday and Thursday next week to thoughts. And I will dedicate the last week to the feelings, because, well, at the end of the day, you wake up and you have thoughts of all descriptions, some of them may be hurting you, but you are unable to get away from them. All these thoughts and all this mental movement is creating all sorts of emotions, and you can feel tired or desperate or frustrated or, you know, in different ways and forms, and you need to deal with that each day, and you have lots of things to do and you need to deal with that during one day. And those are the three areas that are relevant to your concept of an I, because you are, the I is doing things. You always, when you do something, you have a clear experience that I am peeling these potatoes. It's me, not my husband, no, for example, if you are complaining about the fact, for example. So the I is associated with your actions. The I is associated with your thoughts. I mean, you have and you experience yourself as I think. And I think this and not that. It's I that thinks. So that is the other thing that you experience your I through. And then there are your feelings, of course. And I am feeling bad. And it's I that is feeling bad. So these are the three areas of the I, let's say, that you have to deal in a life, because here we are trying to see what we do with this I during the life of one day, which is when the I is really alive with respect to the experience of the rest of us, and with respect to what is real, which is that, you know, people, they tend to misinterpret certain philosophies. They misinterpret non-duality, saying, oh, the universe is unreal. Well, the universe is not unreal. I mean, you are real. I can touch you. All those molecules are moving. All this is happening, and it is not unreal. You know, it's totally actual. So what is unreal is the idea you have of the universe. That is unreal. because what this universe is, we don't know. We have an idea or a conception of us and of this universe which isn't real, because you know it's our own little conception and unshared and unshareable. And you know, so it's not that this universe isn't real. This universe is real, and actions are real. So basically, these are the three yogas in the yogic tradition. Actions is karma yoga. Thoughts is jnana yoga. And feelings is bhakti yoga. Yoga means union, like yug. So to every spiritual discipline, as I was telling at the beginning, is yearning for that union with your inner self, with God, with whatever, but you are trying to find that fulfillment, that union, the yearning to be united to someone is also behind the yearning of finding someone for your life and all these things. So it's a natural yearning that we have of union. So to arrive to union through your actions is karma yoga. Karma means action. Jnana means discrimination, discernment. The mind thought should be used to discern in the last instance, discern between what is real and what is unreal, and to arrive to the union through this discernment, the ultimate discernment between what is real and what is unreal is jnana yoga. And the powerhouse of all feelings is love. Is the devotion to life that love brings when you love deeply life. And that's bhakti yoga. Bhakti means devotion. Any spiritual tradition will deal with all these things, because you know, for example, the Buddhists, they have the right action, right thought, right communication, right feelings, which is compassion, and you know the techniques, concentration techniques, mindful techniques, this, that, the other. But you know, all the Christians which will also tell you, do good, be good, you know, in your actions. You know, you sin also with your thoughts, so you know you have to deal with your thoughts. In any case, every spiritual tradition deals with these three areas. And I am going to give you the essence of how you deal with these things. And one of the most important things to deal with for us, that we are householders, because in this organization, and in that we are very different to other organizations, which are derived from monastic institutions like the Buddhist or the Christian, or you know, because all of these techniques have been kept by the different spiritual traditions, but by the contemplative, you know, the monks. But we are not monks, we are householders, and we teach for householders. It's very different, you know, when you are a monk and you retire yourself from pleasure and pain, from monies and worries. You go to the monastery and you have to pray to God all day. But that's not the life of a householder. The life of a householder is basically composed of action. A householder, the most important yoga for a householder is how you deal with your actions. The person, you know, the form of life that you are expresses itself through its actions. And a fireman, you know, is a fireman because he puts down fires, and so on and so forth. And a doctor is a doctor because he takes you on the theater and operates you. And a street sweeper is a street sweeper because he sweeps streets. And it doesn't matter what is the action you perform. The important thing is how you perform the action. In other words, being a doctor and operating in the theater is not a better or action than sweeping the street. And in fact, it only depends how you look at it. Because the guy that sweeps the streets prevents illnesses. Because if they were dirty, you know, there would be more illnesses. And the doctor cures illnesses. What is more important? Prevent or cure? So, you know, we tend to believe that some things are better than other things, but here in this universe, everything is necessary. And, you know, as I was saying, for a householder, actions is the main yoga. And a normal adult, unless you are retired, are you retired? More or less.
Yeah.
You are retired. Well, in your cases, you have more free time. So you kind of can be more monastic. But normally a householder has many hours that he has to perform action. And you have to wake up and take the children to school, and then go to this place, and then go to your job, and do this and do that, and do the other, and do the other, and then that, and then do here, and then do the shopping, and then do this, and then clean the house, and so you are acting all day. A normal householder, we can say that is from those 16 hours that you are awake, taking, you know, as an average that you sleep 8, so of your 16 hours every day that you have available, telephones off, that afterwards we are going to meditate.
Yeah, it should be on. Okay.
So of the 16 hours that a day is composed, we can say that a normal working person has an average of actions that he has to perform, yes or yes, so that he doesn't need to think if I am going to perform the action or not, of what, of 10, 12 hours, more or less, 10, 12 hours. So you have 10, 12 hours, and this is something very important to realize. In your case, I don't know how many hours it will be, but it will be quite a few. Because when I say every action that you have to do, yes or yes, means do the shopping, do the cooking, do this, any other commitment you may have, because you have acquired it with the community, with this, with that, with the other, family commitments. So all those actions that you know each day you will have to perform for various reasons, but that you have to perform the action. Let's put one action which is simple, which is feeding yourself, which you have to do, yes or yes, no? Feeding yourself, and let's put the example of cooking, okay? So, the secret of action, of right action, is one, which is forget about the result. You have to be oblivious of the result you are seeking. We tend to act, we have fooled ourselves into believing that we will get satisfaction with the result of our action. In other words, we are peeling the potatoes to do our food, and our mind is not in peeling the potatoes, is in having the potatoes peeled. You know, it's like having this done. It's not the act, but the satisfaction I will get it when, all the potatoes are peeled. But it's not true, because after the potatoes are peeled, you have to prepare that. And then after that you have to and so you are always trying to find a satisfaction that never arrives. Because satisfaction is not in the result of the action, but in how you perform the action itself. You might have seen many of these films or images, you know, of these Zen monasteries where you have these monks like cleaning the floor very slowly, and you know, or the ceremony of the tea, or the precision in the action, which means when you are peeling potatoes, you don't need to make it so ritual, you know, like, but when you are peeling potatoes, you know, breathe, put your attention in your breathing, feel the ground, your feet are standing, take the potato, start peeling it, put your attention in smelling the potato, and let those smells bring you the smell of the earth where the potato has, you know, grown, it's a root, all the minerals that it has been, you know, they smell to earth, you know, potatoes, well, unless they are artificial, one of these, but, you know, if they are proper potatoes, they smell to earth. You know, and peel them and take all the ice, and you just flow in the action, and you find the way to flow in the action by using, for example, an object, your breathing, or you could be repeating the mantra, and you are repeating the mantra, and then it will help you to maintain your mind in peeling the potato, because the hands know how to peel the potato, so you will find yourself peeling the potato, and little by little you will find yourself that you are flowing in the action of peeling the potato, and your mind little by little starts forgetting about that it wants to have all the potato peeled. Because you start enjoying the action of peeling the potatoes. If you do every action in this way, which is the same way as saying, as if it was an offer to God, you know, you do it and you put all your senses, you put your thought, your movement of the hands in the action you are performing, well, what happens naturally is that the potatoes are very nicely peeled. And thus, what you are going to cook with the potatoes also gets that energy, you know, and the result of acting in that way. And not only you enjoy the act of cooking, but you also prepare the best of foods, which at the end of the day produces the best results. But the best results come when you have been completely oblivious of the results, and you have just put all your attention, ability, devotion to the action you are performing. As you are known by the rest of the people by your actions, say in this example you are cooking for your family will appreciate better your cooking, will know you better, will know the better part of you if you do your cooking like this instead of doing it in another way. So you get the better results precisely when you forget about the results, when you just concentrate yourself in performing that action literally as if it was an offering to the Lord. So, as a practice, for this week that you are going to add into the equation, you are going to do the following. You can do several of the following things. You decide what. You can find a timer, you know, one of these timers, these mindful app applications. You know, you get one of these free applications that have a timer, and find a timer that can sound, say, every hour and a half, for example, or every 2 hours. You regulate how much you want to do, or every hour. And when it thinks, whatever you are doing at that moment, do it mindfully, which means forget yourself that you are looking the result. 2, put your attention in the action you are performing. By breathing, I mean, get in touch with your breathing. It will bring you to the present moment. You could do a pranayama, for example. So you stop, you change the rhythm, and then you go back to the potato. Say that, to continue with the example, no? Say that it rings and you are with the potato, and you were, see if I finish quick. And it rings, so you change the rhythm, do a pranayama, and put your attention in your breath, or introduce the mantra, or whatever, to maintain the attention in the action, and then you flow peeling potatoes. Right? So, take the attention of the result, put the attention on breathing. You can also introduce the mantra. Return your attention. If your attention diverts, if it goes to I want the potatoes peeled or to any other place, you just gently bring it back to the action like you do when you are doing a mantra. So it has gone wandering, you just bring the mind back to the action and you just flow with this. Little by little you will master this and you will start flowing with the actions you perform. Also, Tratak will help your mind to focus effortlessly, and when your mind focuses effortlessly, it's easier to keep it in the action it is performing. So all these techniques interrelate with each other, and and inter-affect each other, and it becomes a mechanism that has the best results. That's why it's important to do the whole system all together, right? And bring your attention back to the action every time you wander. And we could put as a summary, make your action an offering to God, which is the summary, So, you are going to apply the morning technique, the day technique, and the end of the day technique, which will be the mantra meditation lying down. And that will be your practice from here to Tuesday. We will start reviewing it also. Now there is this other technique that you have learned, which is the chant, the M cream cream, you might remember. Now this other technique, that is the one that we are doing now. The chant, apart from group meditations, which is very good in group meditations, it has a very good application in your lives, which is when you are feeling very bad with yourself for some reason. Either you are in an anxious state, or you are under a depression, you feel very depressed, or you are feeling very bad with yourself and your mind is really giving you a bad time. It's a very good technique. It's a matter of doing rounds. You do rounds of 108 counts. You can buy this in Amazon for peanuts. And at the end of the day, it's just 108 beats. Okay, this one here would be the 109th, which is just to know where it starts. And if you remember, you start a little bit more slowly, and then you give it speed. So you kind of divide the beats into 4, like this. Say you do like this, okay? So you do the first quarter slowly, the next 2 quarters quickly, and the last quarter again slowly, and the last with a big deep breath, very slowly. And between round and round you stop for 1.5 minutes or 2, just letting your lungs breathe by themselves, which will mean that your breathing will slow very, very, very much. And you start another round, and you do as many rounds until you know when you stop after a round, you are starting to feel very good, very at peace, very well. At that very moment, you just continue doing your mantra for 15-20 minutes, and you will get out of that meditation with all the troubles that were killing your mind off. It's just a matter of rounds. But I guarantee you, if you do 21 rounds one day, as an experiment, if you do 21 rounds without losing count, but if you do 21 rounds and after the 20, and you do them well, you know, putting your mind in it, and after the 21st round I ask your name, it takes you, you have to make memory. So my name, so it, you know, it purifies the mind completely of all the little I thoughts. So, you know, it's a very good substitute to the pills, when you go and get a pill, a tranquilizer or whatever, or when you jump to the bottle to tranquilize you with a drink. In other words, when you are under big stress of some description, or a depression, or you have a panic attack, or you are feeling very bad with yourself, this is a very good therapy. and has no contradictions, you know, like the pills, you know, doesn't produce side effects apart from a state of relaxation. So we are going to break for 5-10 minutes so that we can have a tea or a coffee, and we will finish with a chant meditation with a mantra, so that you know, we are sure that we know how to do it and we will be able to replicate it. Right? Okay.
Okay.
So, intermezzo.
Okay.
Intermission.
Intermission, like the opera.
Time for a commercial.
Time for the commercials. Yeah, nah, right. As we are broadcasting, we should have an hour.
Right?
Yeah, we don't have such a lot of audience.
Benito, where you going? You going out?
Ah,
You
no.
wearing the shoes?
Ah, no.
Oh.
It's possible that I want to smoke to the. I don't know why.
Patio. Patio.
Patio. Patio.
When you finish the police department,
Yes.
you keep ID card?
Ah, yes.
Ah.
I have. This,
Because
I go up to take.
Oh, you show me a picture. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, like I know right here. This, yeah, like the bench. It's like, oh, okay. This is good. Right. Oh.
And this is, we use the Spain
Oh, yeah.
application policy.
Yeah. Of the computer.
Yes, yes.
We're comparing IDs. Oh. Yeah. But we don't have it, no chip.
Ah.
We don't have no chip, no. Yeah. Sure. See, Finito, retired. And you, Finito, also. Yeah. Okay. So this way, when you're driving and the police stop you, you go like this, right?
Ah,
With the legs.
yeah, it's possible, but I prefer don't show nothing.
I know.
I try there with respect and cordially and never happen nothing.
But if they go to write you a ticket, then you have to go, oh, listen,
Ah,
right? Yes.
no, this is good.
No.
No.
No?
Because they say that you.
This is my ID card. And he showed me this from Spain. See, we tried policeman from Spain. Yeah.
Ramón,
Yeah, I was just telling him.
¿me llamaste?
Stop by the police.
Así que cojan la tarjeta esa, no te está dando una tarjeta de esto.
No. Me está diciendo que me está enseñando lo
They
de él.
need to go give you a ticket.
Pero si yo ya tenemos esa otra.
Because their police there is a national police.
Pero si está igual hay que devolverla, ¿no?
See, in New York, you have different parts, different states, different cities, yeah, you know. But this is the national police. I think they have that like in, they have in Portugal, I know they have in France, the national police. Yes. Yeah. In Germany, yes. Yeah. Yeah. He came on when I retired. He came on in 1998. 2017. He did like 22 years. I did 21 years. I came on in 1973. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah.
So you were in New York City?
Yeah. Yeah. It was an experience.
I was going to say, I bet you saw everything.
I did, and that's when I started with the yoga.
Okay.
Because there was a fellow, I worked in Harlem, it's a very busy precinct, very high-crime precinct. And, you know, a lot of the fellows I worked with were in the military. We all were in Vietnam, we were all in the military back at that time. When we get out of the service, we all look for jobs. So, of course, we see appreciable. But, you know, some of the fellows I worked with were into, like, safety, martial arts, different ways to deal with the stress of the job. But me, I said, no, I need something. I'm not. So I took yoga, and after doing yoga, I got into meditation. Yeah. But I took TM when it first came out. And what happened was at that time they charged you, I think it was $1,200 for TM. Now it's a couple of thousand. I was telling them. Well, I started with meditation, but then when TM came up, I said, well, what is this difference from yoga meditation? And the TM was a little bit different, but it cost me a couple $100 when I took this in 1975. I think it was like $300 or $400. And then you can go back annually to get what they call checked. And I did it, but I mostly stayed with the hatha yoga, with the meditation from yoga rather than the TM. But you know, the benefits are so good that sometimes you feel good, and then you don't, you know, you put it off. You don't meditate every day. But I would always come back periodically, and like this to me is like a good refresher course. And what's good about this, though, I have to tell you, is the part about the mind, how it really interjects with everything that you do physically. The mind controls a lot of things, you know, your feelings, and it's really the mental part that really relaxes you. But there's the whole being. Yeah, that's why meditation is really. Yeah. Raymond, is there coffee here? Do you drink Starbucks? They have Starbucks in...
Yes, in Spain.
Yeah.
In Spain we have good coffee.
Yeah.
Here you have to go for good coffee.
Yeah. Here the Starbucks, people like it because it's so strong, but it's so expensive. If you go to a Starbucks, forget about it. You can walk out there with a cup of coffee like $8 or $9, you know.
Yeah, well, good coffee is like good wine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not so expensive in Spain. It's much more affordable.
Yeah.
Well, there's some good coffee shops here. There's,
No, well, you know, here another thing is how you prepare the coffee.
Yeah.
So here, you know, I got good coffee. This I got Lavacha. This is a good coffee. I got it in Whole Foods, and then we also got one in Starbucks that is a
Oh, the great.
drink.
Yeah.
And then we do it in this machine, which is not bad.
You know, I never drank coffee in Greece. Because if I was drinking coffee, even like I'd be up, you know? And I was always the type of person, I was like that without drinking coffee, you know? I wanted to relax, you know?
Right.
So, and if you had a cup of coffee with a cigarette, it was like, oh my God, well, you know, you get like a big rush of feeling like that.
Right. Yeah, well, coffee and nicotine is actually that's why people take coffee, you know, because it keeps you going, caffeine, you know.
Some people say, you don't drink coffee, like household drink coffee. And I would say, no, I said, I don't want to get it. I don't want to rush, you know? At the end,
no,
no.
You know, different people are affected in different ways, but I think some people are very sensitive to coffee, some people are very sensitive to alcohol, and other people not. You know, I don't drink a coffee. I drink only 1 cup of coffee in the morning, so I drink very little coffee. But if I drink coffee before going to bed, I sleep exactly the same. So it doesn't create. But in the mornings, you know, it's like my body tells me Bueno, lo pones.
No está en directo. Ah, está en directo, sí. Está en YouTube.
Bueno, sí, el link, sí. Nadie va a quedar.
Ah, entonces quito la transmisión ya.
Bueno, lo que puedes hacer es cuando empiece y llevemos unas ronditas,
Lo quito.
lo pasas al final y lo quitas.
Ah, vale.
Hey, Mark, I was talking to them, and I told them, I says, you have an ID card like I do when you drive from the police department. So I said to them, I says, you keep it on you all the time, especially when you're driving, because if you're driving and maybe you go through a red light and the police pull you over,
Yeah.
when they ask for your license and registration, do you show them your license and your police ID card? So he told me no. He said, I don't show them the police ID card. So I was kind of curious, what happens if they're going to give him a ticket? Does he show it to them then, you know?
Because you can find someone that say you that you made example, que tienes que dar ejemplo, que no puedes...
Yeah, he's telling me that you don't do it to begin with. You do it if they are going to put you a ticket.
Right.
And you know, he's saying that maybe you know, if you show it from the beginning, the other guy might think, well, you should be giving example, you know, being a policeman.
Yeah. But you know, one time I got stopped in Yonkers, and the sergeant stopped me, because there they ride one in the car. And he started to give me a lecture, you know, and everything. And he says, give me your license. And then I says, okay. And then he started to walk around. I says, excuse me. I says, I showed him my shield, you know, my ID card. I was still a policeman then. He took it and went back in the car. And he sat there for about maybe 10 minutes. And I said to myself, what the heck is this? He came back. He says, why didn't you show me this sooner? He says, I said, because I didn't know you were going to give me a ticket, you know? I says, I didn't want to, you know, say it was, he says, you should have told me sooner. You made me look like a fool, he said to me. He says, you let me tell you all this stuff. Oh, you got to be careful. And then you show me your policeman. Next time you show me that right away, so I don't waste my time talking to you. So sometimes you can't win, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
you know?
Yeah. Él pone el ejemplo de que otra vez le pasó eso, no enseñó al principio,
Y
y entonces el otro le hizo a dar una lata y tal, y le fue a poner la multa, entonces le enseñó la esta, y claro, dijo, joder, ¿cómo? Pero haberme lo enseñado al principio, aquí yo dándote la vara y tal, y haciéndome hacer el ridículo, y ahora resulta que me dices que eres policía, anda, que te den.
Go to the baño.
So is this your first time here? Or?
No, I've been coming to the States since I was a young man, really.
Yeah.
And I lived in California
Ah,
for several years. So.
yeah. This isn't California.
No, cold.
It's cold.
But it's nice also. It's, you know, it's everything has its good things.
Yeah, so you haven't gone into the city much?
You mean Manhattan?
Yeah, into Manhattan.
Not in the street.
Yeah.
I know Manhattan, but you know, I mean that it's a little bit a pain in to go to Manhattan and all the, you know, the train and this, and you start walking up and down the place. Unless you go to something specific.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like a show or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
I have never liked tourism in the sense of going and visit statues and things like that. You know, might be driving through them, you know, to see them, but you know, like kind of going, and it's not my taste.
And the pace is so fast that when you walk the streets of Manhattan,
Yeah, and they go
you have to keep up. Because if you don't keep up, the people are like pushing you, you know what I mean? You have like two extremes. Like the people that live in New York, and they're used to everything fast. The tourists walk slow, and they walk all in a line so you can't get around them. So that's when you got to start breathing and to relax, you know, because it's easy to get frustrated, you know, when it's so crowded and you can't make a move, you can't get no place.
Yeah, exactly. So many people in the streets is kind of too much people.
Yeah.
It's too high, and then of course, you know, everybody going out, and
Yeah.
it's...
The big buildings cast a shadow, and you got to see the skyline now. I mean, I don't know what you asked. Now there's apartment buildings, 60, 70 stories. Apartment buildings, not even office buildings, where people live now.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
I don't see. Well, it might be beautiful to live like at 67th floor. You know, it must be. There must be. You know, like the views. But apart from that, you know, living like with 67 floors of apartments, so many people going up and down of that place.
No windows open, and what happens with the fire? The firemen have to take the elevator up. The ladders don't go up that high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's unbelievable. And people that have these apartments now.
And
3, 4
millions.
Yeah, millions. Millions. There's a lot of people when you walk on Park Avenue, like in the 60s, you look up at these buildings, these apartment buildings, the old one, like from the 40s, and you talk to the doorman, and they tell you come here at night, you don't see hardly any lights in any of these buildings. These are people bought these apartments for investments. They live out of state or overseas, out of the country, yeah.
Anyhow, the world will
Yeah.
always be the world.
Yeah.
So let's start. Aim Rim Grim Chamandaye Vicheche. 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 Aim Shrim Krim Chamandaya 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 Vicheche. Aim Shrim Krim